Welcome back to the channel. We have parts. Just got these in off the old Amazon Jungle website. $117 delivered to my door for two. Dodge won at $580. Napa won at just over $200. So we win as cheap as you can get. I don't think it's possible to get anything cheaper. Auto Shack. They shipped out of Ontario, Canada. So I just yanked this out, and there is literally no difference between the two of these. Even the same little imperfections in the corner of the casts are the same bumps on the edges. The only difference that there is this is a squared edge, this is a tapered edge, which is not even a cast piece. This is fully machined. That is the only difference between these two. Hopefully, life-wise, this will work just great. So, got the old mini grinder with a wire wheel. We're going to clean this up carefully a little bit and try to clean some of the corrosion off that. Have to chip our backing plate out of the ice, and our jack melted about 4 inches into the ice while the truck has been sitting here for a week. So anyway, let's get at it. So I'm not getting too fancy here. I'm just getting off as much rust and corrosion as I can, like the big flaky stuff, just to make sure that the new wheel bearing seats in there good. And also it'll make sure it's a good clean surface, so when I tighten up the bolts, they're staying tight and it's not like, you know, going paint to putting paint on paint, right? And over time it wears and they become loose. So just clean this up good. We'll make sure that we don't have to come back and retighten the bolts. And everything will stay nice and tight. Now that I got that fairly clean, next thing I'm going to do is put on some of this copper coat. This is probably the best stuff you can ever put on anything to stop rust and to make it stop from seizing in there. So we're just going to end up putting it on the splines for the four-wheel drive shaft. I'll put a little bit here around the edge, the inside of this, so that the bearing hub slides in nice. And then hopefully everything will go together good. And if I ever have to take it apart again, it'll come apart nice and easy. Don't need too much in here, just a little bit to help it slide together. Oops. While I'm tightening them up. There we go. So I bought these as a set, and in the box both are the exact same part number, so I'm assuming there's not a left and a right, and they are both identical. And I think the only difference is the side that the little set screw for the sensor's on, which doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter which side it's going on. So, let's see if we can get this in here. Oh, stupid little clips don't want to fit through. There we go. So just turn the wheel a little bit to the right there so I can get our bolts back in. Just kind of go into the back. Hopefully everything lines up and they seem to be catching good. So I'll snug those in a little further and I'll just turn the wheel the other way and get that third one in on this side. That seems to go in there pretty good. Now, I did notice one thing. Let's see if I can get here and show you. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But there is something different. Okay. Right here, where the sensor is for the ABS. Now that I got this in here, it's actually touching the aluminum here of the control arm. It's not touching a lot, but it has pushed it up just a little bit on the end. In the original, see if we can show it. See, it actually goes out on a bit of an angle. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And then this one's coming off square and 90 right on it. I guess if I would have noticed that putting it on, I could have gouged this out a little bit. It's only aluminum, but it's not really pushing hard on it. It's just come up on the edge of it. I think it's going to be okay. There's not a lot of movement in there. So I'm just going to torque those 3 bolts down. Straighten up the wheel, and then we'll get our nut on. Gotta put it in 4-wheel drive. as the front diff is locked, I can get this to turn. It is a pinched nut, what they call a Stover nut, so it locks itself. So now we just gotta route the ABS sensor back through everything. And for the most part, it should fit right back into the original clip down here, which it does. And then it's gonna be a clip under here. This comes with the new one. I'm actually gonna pop this one off and use the existing one that's inside the control arm already. There's already one up inside here, just to make it easier. And then we'll just plug it right into there. And we'll turn ignition on, and hopefully the system reads the sensor just fine. Now, let's hope that the computer likes that sensor. Well, that's not good. Well, now let's check those connections to see if it's nice and clean. Well, to the best of my abilities, that connector is as clean as it can be, and everything else looks fine. So maybe because it went off, I've had them go off in other vehicles before. Maybe I need to drive around for 5 or 10 minutes to get it to clear itself. So anyway, I'm just gonna get the brake pads put back on here, throw this cage on, and then hopefully we'll get the wheel on too. We're gonna have to put some blocks under this and jack it up again, because with the warm weather we had over the last week there, jack is about 4 inches sunk into the ice now. This actually was a pond just about 4 days ago, and I was getting kind of concerned of how I'm going to work in 6 inches of water, but it did go down a bit. But the jack, unfortunately, is frozen solid in there. So, just going to tighten these up, get the brakes on, put my caliper back on, and hopefully that goes smooth. Well, that all went back together good. And a little bit of good news, there's enough left in the jack that I could get it up just that little bit to get the tire back on. So now we're just gonna throw in this cap, throw in the wheel lugs, and then we're gonna take this to my buddy's shop and do the other side. Slipping and sliding in a mud puddle or a slush puddle is not my idea of a good time. So I'll just snug these on. I'll end up, I'll torque them. Shop's only 10 kilometers away. I'll torque them when I do the other side and get done both at the same time. Well, I just made it to my buddy's shop, and I only had to drive about 2 kilometers, and the codes all cleared themselves. So ABS and everything's working fine now. I can get back on cruise control. That light there, I just started the truck again. That is tire sensor light telling me I got a low tire. Except 4 tires been holding air perfect for the last couple months or so since I bought this truck, so I do have a bad sensor. I'm not worried about it. Other than my car, I've never owned a truck that had a tire pressure sensor, so it blinks for a bit, then it comes on solid, but doesn't affect how anything drives. So, picked up old Timmy's. Time to get at her, finish that right wheel now. And that is a job well done. Just pulled her outside, gave her a little washing, prettied it up a little bit. But that one went on just as good as the last one. Actually, not too bad. Better than I was thinking. And I got all the wheels torqued up as well while I'm in here. But that's the end of this video. Repair that I didn't think I was gonna have to make. Wheel well still holding out good. Tailgate's looking shiny as ever. Water beading off it like it's brand new. The only thing left on this truck is this wheel well, which is horrible, in the bottom of that door, which is going to be the worst job actually. So anyway, glad this is done. Be able to load up my little tractor now, get that back home, and get ready for the next project, which will be hopefully finishing off that spreader. So as always, thanks for watching. Thumbs up is greatly appreciated. And it'd be awesome if you subscribe to the channel. Spring is coming, summer's coming, hay season, and old equipment hopefully is on the books. Catch you all again later. Bye.